So, you're curious about Curse of the Pink Panther, 1983. Here's the lowdown on one of the weirdest and most notorious movies in the whole Pink Panther comedy series. What's the deal with this movie? Curse of the Pink Panther was made because the studio, MGM, didn't want to let go of their cash cow comedy series, even after Peter Sellers, the legendary Inspector Clouseau, passed away in 1980. Blake Edwards, who had pretty much created the Pink Panther vibe, tried to keep things rolling by making not one but two movies back-to-back. Trail of the Pink Panther, now 1982, pieced together with old Sellers footage. This one, Curse of the Pink Panther, 1983, designed to introduce a new goofy detective who could maybe pick up where Clouseau left off. Yeah, bold move. What's it about? Clouseau's gone missing, following the events of Trail, and the French cops turn to a supercomputer to track down the world's best detective. But of course, Chief Inspector Dreyfus, played by Herbert Lom, messes with the computer and ends up pulling up Clifton Sleigh, a clueless but eager New York cop, as their guy. So Sleigh goes bumbling all across Europe, running into people from past movies like Sir Charles Litton, Lady Simone and Countess Chandra, while searching for Clouseau and the Pink Panther diamond. There are loads of silly mishaps, of course. The twist? Clouseau's had plastic surgery, and now he magically looks like Roger Moore. Yep, James Bond himself. Roger just shows up for a quick cameo, and apparently Clouseau is alive, but in hiding. Wild, right, the vibe. The movie tries to pull off the old-school slapstick humour and sight gags. It's full of mistaken identities and over-the-top chaos. But here's the thing, fans felt like something big was missing. Without Peter Sellers, it just didn't have the same energy. Ted Wass, the new guy, is fine, but he's stuck trying to be the next Clouseau without much of his own character to work with. How's the cast? Ted Wass, you might remember him from the sitcom Soap, does his best as Sleigh, but honestly, audiences weren't buying it. Herbert Lom is back as Dreyfus and still funny, arguably the best part of the movie. Joanna Lumley and Capucine show up again to bring some class. Robert Wagner is back too. Sadly, David Niven was really sick by this point, so his voice was dubbed by impressionist Rich Little. And don't forget Roger Moore's Blink and You'll Miss It cameo as Clouseau. It was intended as a possible setup for even more sequels, but that never happened. What did people think? Reviews were, not great. Critics called it confusing and desperate, like the whole thing was just banking too hard on people's love for the old Pink Panther movies. The box office numbers were pretty sad too. It only made about $4.5 million in the US, which was nowhere near enough to cover what they spent making it. After this mess, Blake Edwards tried one more time with Son of the Pink Panther, 1993, starring Roberto Benigni. That flopped too. The Pink Panther name didn't go anywhere for a decade, until Steve Martin played Clouseau in a 2006 reboot. That was at least a commercial success, but, well, let's just say fans are still divided. Did you know? Roger Moore's character is uncredited in the movie. He's listed as Turk Thrust 2, which is an inside joke for Panther fans. Ted Wass was supposed to be the next series star, but that didn't pan out. David Niven was so unwell that his lines were dubbed. He died right before the movie released. On the bright side, the opening cartoon sequence with the animated Pink Panther is still a highlight, with music by Henry Mancini. That part actually got some love. Now, Curse of the Pink Panther is mostly remembered as a so-bad-it's-interesting movie, Hollywood's awkward attempt to keep a legendary comedy alive after its star was gone. If you're a big Pink Panther fan, it's kind of worth tracking down as the oddball end of the original series, which started way back in 1963 with The Pink Panther and A Shot in the Dark. For everyone else, it's more of a curiosity, but hey, sometimes you got to see how weird sequels can get, right? Want more 80s movie rabbit holes? Stick with movies of the 80s for all your nostalgia needs.